All right, settle in. Let's talk about something that's got the entire realm buzzing. You and I have been waiting in this long, long winter for any sign of new stories from Westeros, and now, just when we least expected it, a new tale is beginning to unfold. It's not about the fight for the Iron Throne, not about dragon riders clashing in the skies. This is a different kind of story altogether. It's smaller, more personal, and in some ways, perhaps more genuine. It's the story of a wandering knight, a boy with a shaved head, and a single desperate chance to prove something in a world that rarely gives second glances to people like them. We begin, as so many stories do, with an ending. A hedge knight lies dead under a tree. Now, a hedge knight, for those who might not know the term intimately, is about as low as you can get on the chivalric ladder. They own no land, swear no permanent vows to any lord. They sleep under hedges, in stables, wherever they can find. They live by their sword, their wits, and the occasional lucky break. This particular knight, Sir Arland, has breathed his last, and he leaves behind not a castle or a title, but something perhaps more burdensome, a legacy of survival, embodied in his massive teenage squire, Dunk. Dunk is a boy from the absolute bottom, from the stinking, crowded maze of Flea Bottom in King's Landing. He's seen the worst of what life can offer. He's been with Sir Arland since he was a child, traveling the muddy roads, always looking for the next meal, the next coin, the next minor lord who needs a sword for hire. He's grown to be a giant of a young man, all limbs and awkwardness, towering over others but feeling very, very small inside. And now, with his master gone, he faces a choice that feels as vast as the continent itself. Does he try to find another knight to serve, to go back to being an anonymous helper? Or does he dare to step into the boots that seem several sizes too big? Does he try to become a knight himself? The world he's stepping into is one that looks peaceful on the surface, but you can feel the cracks if you know where to press. It's been over a decade since the Blackfire Rebellion, a bitter civil war that tore families apart, pitting Targaryen against Targaryen. The wounds from that conflict are scarred over, but they still ache. Lords who backed the losing side nurse their grievances, and the politics of the realm are a delicate, simmering pot that could boil over at any moment. Dunk, of course, isn't thinking about any of that. His world is the few feet of ground in front of him, the weight of the old sword and ill-fitting armor he's inherited, and the 3 horses that are now his entire fortune. His plan is simple, man, born of pure necessity. He hears of a tournament being held at Ashford Meadow in the Fertile Reach. It's to celebrate the birthday of some lord's daughter, a grand spectacle for the nobility. For Dunk, it's a potential lifeline. Win a few jousts, some prize money, and he can buy proper gear, feed his horses, maybe even afford a real bed for a while. It's a long shot, but it's the only shot he has. So he sets off, this huge young man on a road, looking every bit the part of a knight, but feeling like an imposter with every step he takes. Now, the tone of this tale is set immediately, and it's a delightful shift. We're used to the grand, ominous chords of the past, the weight of dynastic doom. Here, as a familiar theme starts to swell, it's punctuated by the very human, very ungainly sound of Dunk tripping over a root. It's a wonderful little moment. It tells us this isn't about prophecy and fire and blood, at least not on the surface. It's about a young man who stumbles, both literally and figuratively. It's grittier, earthier, and has a thread of warmth running through it that's often been in short supply. On the road, Dunk stops at an inn, nearly empty because everyone has gone to the tournament. Here he meets a boy, a clever, persistent, bald-headed boy who calls himself Egg. The boy is desperate to be a squire, to attach himself to any knight who will have him. Dunk, feeling like a fraud, tries to brush him off. "You're better off not squiring for the likes of me," he says, tossing the boy a copper coin as a kindness. It's a moment of self-awareness that's quite touching. Dunk doesn't see a noble protector, he sees a struggling kid who might be better off anywhere else. When Dunk finally arrives at Ashford Meadow, the reality of his situation hits him like a lance to the chest. The field is a riot of color and noise. Pavilions fly the banners of great houses, the purple lightning of Dondarrion, the bees of Beesbury, the proud stag of Baratheon. This is the world of the established, the landed, the legitimate, and Dunk is an outsider. To enter the lists, he must prove he's a true knight, and here lies his first and biggest problem. He claims Sir Arland knighted him before he died, but the memory is hazy. He recalls a robin and a thorn tree as the only witness. And we, having seen that robin ourselves, know it appeared only after Sir Arland was already gone. Did the knighting ever happen? Or is Dunk, in his desire to be more than he is, clinging to a hope, a half-remembered promise? He needs another knight to vouch for him. His only tenuous connection is to House Dondarrion, as his old master once fought alongside a previous Lord Dondarrion. So he goes seeking Lord Manfred Dondarrion, a man who turns out to be less than chivalrous, holding court in his pavilion with a distinctly unsettling atmosphere that suggests his tastes are far from the songs of heroic knights. Rejected and dejected, Dunk wanders the tournament grounds, a spectator in a world he's trying to join. He watches a mummers play about a legendary knight from the Age of Heroes who slayed a dragon, the kind of story that fuels the dreams of every boy who ever held a stick as a sword. He sees the arrogance of the highborn knights, like the repulsive Sir Fossaway who bullies his own kin for sport. Dunk, in a moment that clearly bothers him, walks away from that injustice. It's a quiet failure, one that asks a crucial question. What does he believe a knight should be? Is it just about fighting in tournaments, or is it about something more? His uncertainty is his defining trait right now. He's physically enormous, yet he slouches, as if trying to appear smaller. He speaks in maybes and hopefullys instead of declarations. He even confesses his doubts to his horse, a patient creature named Thunder. He's the opposite of the brash, confident warriors surrounding him. But then he has an encounter that begins to change him. He stumbles, quite literally, into the camp of Lord Lionel Baratheon, known as the Laughing Storm. Lionel is everything Dunk is not: loud, confident, boisterous, brimming with life and a love for combat. He sees Dunk trying to shrink away and will have none of it. "The gods made you tall, so be tall," he booms. In Lionel's presence, Dunk is forced to be himself. They drink, they talk, they dance a clumsy, stomping dance. For a knight, Dunk is not an outsider. He's a guest, even wearing the Baratheon stag crown in a moment of drunken camaraderie. Lionel speaks of testing oneself against worthy foes, of the honor found in the struggle itself. It's a revelation to Dunk. It's not just about winning for survival, there's a kind of purpose in the attempt. Bolstered by this unexpected friendship, he makes another attempt to find Lord Dondarrion, only to be coldly and finally dismissed. His dream seems to be crumbling before it even starts. He returns to his meager camp, a patch of grass by a stream, to find it transformed. The bald boy, Egg, is there. He's followed Dunk, tended to the horses, started a fire, caught dinner. He's made himself indispensable. And in that moment, facing this determined child, Dunk makes a decision. He straightens his back, stops slouching, and introduces himself properly. "I am Sir Duncan the Tall." It's the first time he claims the title with any force. He's accepting the role, for better or worse, and he takes Egg on as his squire. As they sit by the fire, a streak of light cuts across the night sky, a falling star. In the world of Westeros, such signs are never just pretty lights, they're omens. To some, they herald the birth of dragons or the coming of a promised prince. To others, they mean war and bloodshed. To the small folk, they're often just bad luck. But Egg, ever the optimist, says it brings luck to those who see it. And Dunk, looking around at the grand pavilions where the other knights sleep, realizes he and Egg are the only ones out under the open sky. Maybe the luck is all ours then, he muses. And that's where this new journey truly begins. Not with a grand declaration or a dragon's roar, but with a quiet pact between a would-be knight who isn't sure he's real and a clever boy hiding a world of secrets under a bald head. They have no patronage, no grand name, no certainty of tomorrow. All they have is a falling star for luck, 3 horses, a set of ill-fitting armor, and a place in a tournament they aren't even officially allowed to enter. It's a story about the space between the great historical events, about the people who live in the margins of the songs. It's about trying to be good in a world that often rewards the opposite, about finding your footing when the ground is constantly shifting. For the next 30 minutes, that's the road we're walking. So let's follow Dunk and Egg and see what kind of knights and men they become.